There is a colloquialism in the real South, Getten Bove Yor Rasen. This slogan explains the conceit and hubris of a local kid that leaves their small town to work in a big city, returning to visit a little too full of themselves. These kids were raised with participation trophies and the no spanking rules of Dr. Spock, where discipline was considered a form of child abuse. It is apparent this way of raising children has failed miserably, with an entitlement mentality deserving of the phrase, Getten Bove Yor Rasen. These kids are now populating many government bureaucratic positions. They seem blind to any responsibility and accountability, a common trait found in many career bureaucrats and lobbyists. They feel unjustly proud of their public service, while they lived off the government their entire career, accomplishing little other than bringing the country a little closer to a deep state of socialism and anarchy. This also explains why the deep state fights so hard to stop anyone who wants to expose their incompetence and corruption. Their lack of logic and objectiveness blinds any awareness of their decisions and how it affects so many other parts of the economy and the functioning of the country. Of course, any medical doctor will go to any extreme to save a life, as that's how they were trained. To force a patient to not work in order to save their life is appropriate, but only if not working doesn't cause the patient to starve to death. This is the way bureaucrats are handling global warming and the pandemic. It has come to the point where their prescription for a cure is worse than the disease. These bureaucrats are very comfortable making these declarations, as their paycheck will always cash regardless of how bad the results. Most appear indifferent or unaware of their narrow-mindedness of their conclusions. The media and the deep state uses this as evidence to criticize anyone who disagrees, calling them science deniers. They Monday morning quarterback this propaganda to advance their liberal agenda. Those experienced in private industry are far better equipped to understand how these parts work together in order to secure some sort of stability and sustainability. The deep state bureaucrats are so embedded with the errors of their ways, it is impossible for them to realize there's a real life going outside their bureaucratic bubble. The excuse, if it saves one life, is a mindless liberal retort to justify anything. It is not possible to save any life. It can only delay the inevitable, as it is impossible to die in perfect health. The bureaucrats and scientists of the CDC and the EPA are not infallible. To condemn anyone who disagrees with them is hypocrisy at its finest. It is never a perfect answer, only the best of terrible choices. They could never survive in the business world because they would never be allowed to make these predictions that are always wrong. They are way above their raising, with our only hope is that we believe that right will prevail. We can only pray that right will prevail as soon as possible. This is Keith Kuby wishing you the best in making the world a better place.